Namah Shreyati Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Swamine Tapaharine.
Namaste. Yes, so we were discussing about the gunas of the doshas, and we understood how doshas can be considered as a pattern of gunas and create the conditions. Like there is something called as an internal environment. We know that in modern physiology also, internal milieu they call it. In Ayurveda, it has been told that the conditions for the normal physiological functions to happen is created by the doshas. Visargadana vikshepai soma surya anila yatha dharayandi jagat deham vatavitta kabhas tatha. So just like the external environment is maintained by the movement of the sun, moon, and the wind, similarly inside the body, the apt conditions are maintained. So what we have to understand is doshas are representing I cannot spotlight myself. The host has to do it. Yeah. I don't have that option of spotlighting or pinning. A pin is there. But no, that has to be spotlight is possible. That is possible by the organizers, those who have the host account. Are you able to see?
So I can see your screen only. I think it's spotlighted. If not, whoever one can pin only you, so that only you will be visible.
Yeah. Yes. So anyway, let us continue. And in a short while, the text will anyway come up. So what I was saying is that when the three doshas, just like Soma Surya Anila means sun is up in the morning, then comes moon in the night. Sometimes they overlap a little bit, then the wind. So it means that these three doshas are continuously shifting, and that is how the correct conditions are maintained. So these represent the shifts in the internal conditions of the body. So when you say vata has increased, it's another way of saying that the environment inside the body is changing. There is a shift. So when vata has increased, it means the body is going in energy utilization mode. adrenaline is pumping, energy is being burnt and utilized. When you say kapha has increased in your body, it means your body is shifting now to a conservative mode. Energy is being conserved. When you say pitta is increasing, it means energy is now being transformed. So you can see that all these three functions have to happen in a balanced way for the internal environment of the body to be in optimal conditions. Sometimes, like for example, have you heard of the fight, flight or fright, or flight response? This is very similar to the three doshas. When a situation comes and you decide to fight, it's a fight mode. Or you decide to run away, it is called flight mode. Or you become scared and you become frozen, that is fright mode. So in this way, the body, these are all related to the doshas, also influence you in different ways. So when doshas are balanced, we don't panic. We face the situation, we understand and respond to the situation. When there is an exaggerated response from any one of the doshas, so if it is vata, it may be fright or flight. If it is pitta, it will be fight. If it is kapha, it will be a balanced response. In kapha, you are not overwhelmed. So if it is a pitta dominant environment, then you will go into a fight mode. If it is vata more dominant, you will either run away or you will become too frightened and will freeze. So our body environments are continuously shifting. And these shifts, though we attribute it to the doshas, actually what is happening is the guna patterns are shifting. That is why doshas have been explained in terms of the gunas. And by inducing the opposite gunas, we can shift the body again. So if the body is in an extremely energy spending mode, then when we give Shita, Snigdha, Guru, Sthula gunas to the body, then the body kapha will increase and the body will go from an energy spending mode to a energy conserving mode. Are you able to get the point that the doshas are actually shifting and fluctuating? And in that process of shifting and fluctuating, the balance is maintained inside. So when cold increases, then pitta will increase. And heat increases, then again kapha will increase. So, everything in the body is in a state of flux. And that flux we understand in terms of the gunas. So, to know in more detail about this, we have to study about the Gurvadi gunas, which will be spoken later. Yesterday, I was also mentioning what is the importance of the first chapter, what is importance of the first section. Sutrasthana is the summary of the whole text. And the first chapter is the seed of the whole teaching of Ayurveda. So all the essential things that we need to know to study Ayurveda are mentioned in the first chapter. So the Gurvadi gunas are, so actually speaking, when we are going into the study of the dosha gunas, we must know the Gurvadi gunas, otherwise how will we understand? So I want to also discuss a little bit of Gurvadi gunas so that we understand, the attributes of gunas given to the doshas. So have all of you, some of you are Ayurveda physicians, some of you are maybe knowledgeable in darshanas. I don't know how many of you have heard of the Gurvadi gunas. How many of you are already aware of it? Because I want to discuss a little bit about Gurvadi gunas so that we understand about doshas more correctly. Yes, Kalyana Krishnan knows. Those of you who know can just raise their hand.
No, good evening, Professor. I don't know about it. My question was basically regarding that when you started with Samanya Vishesha, then Dravya and Dhatu and Karma as Niyoga, Viyoga and all that. Afterwards, from the last shloka, you went into this Ridosha. So the question is that from the Dravya Gunas and all, from the Dravya and what you call the Panchabhutas and Dhatus, how did the rishis come to this Tridoshas as the what you call the controlling features or determination? That's my one point. The other point, of course, was that you discussed about the whether the doshas can be considered as dravya or guna. But
Yes.
But then you said also that Ayurveda recognizes dravya more. So then in that case, does it not essentially mean that we have to consider it as dravya? What is it? These are the two questions.
Yeah. In Ayurveda, dravya is necessary to control the do anything on the gunas. So that is why when we want to specify doshas, we have to use dravyas. From Chikitsa point of view, we have to use dravyas. But it is the guna that makes the dravyas, useful or not. So both are important. But what we meant was the upakarana is a dravya. The upakarana to balance the doshas is a dravya. That is what I meant. For a chikitsaka, the dravya is the basis. Even to do something on the guna, we have to use the dravya. There is no other way.
Okay.
So I will try to explain that. And see, a dravya is interesting because of the gunas it has. But because the gunas are ashrita on dravya, as upakarana we have to always use dravya. Like suppose I want to specify vata, I have to use dravyas which have gunas opposite to vata. There is no other way. I cannot extract. It is in that sense that we said dravya is important in Ayurveda. I hope that is clear.
Okay.
Ripi, your hand is raised. Okay, maybe you did by mistake. Okay. So yes, the 20 Samanya Gunas, that is the thing. So they are actually, the 20 Samanya Gunas are actually, coming in opposites. They are pairs. So what we can say is they are two gunas represent one continuum. So what we can say is this is the matrix in which all the material substances manifest. It is like the background matrix in which the whole physical universe exists. So this is the matrix created by the Panchamahabhutas. It's like a continuum. You have Ushna and Shita at the top. Ushna and Shita are not two separate gunas actually. They represent one continuum. The continuum we can call as temperature. And if you just change the temperature in a system, in a chemical system, for example, as the temperature changes, automatically the nature of chemical reactions will change. As the heat increases, reactivity will increase. As the cold increases, reactivity will reduce. That is why when we keep a fruit in the refrigerator, it stays without rotting for a little bit more time, right? Because that chemical reactivity increases with heat. So we need to, inside our body, we need to keep shifting this across this continuum. Heat, cold, heat, cold, heat, cold. And our body is generally on the warm side. If it becomes too cold, then, chemical reactivity goes down and then we cannot do the activities of life. If we heat too much, then many substances will get denatured and damaged. Next, we have Snigdha and Ruksha. See, this is also a very interesting set of gunas, because Snigdha, actually, what does it mean? You have to think in terms of chemistry. Snigdha means creation of bonds, and Ruksha means breaking of bonds. Is that clear? So you can see when there is heat and cold, as the heat and cold shifts, the making and breaking of bonds also shifts. What we call as samyoga and viyoga. So when there is samyoga, there is snigdha guna. When there is viyoga, it becomes ruksha. Now what drives this? Ushna and Shita. Please try to listen to this very carefully, because the dosha is the most difficult concept to understand. Without understanding Gurvadi gunas clearly, we cannot get a sense of the doshas. So you can imagine your body as a matrix where temperature is, fluctuating. And as the temperature fluctuates, you can imagine particles coming together, breaking apart, coming together, breaking apart. Snigdha guna and Ruksha guna. Now these four gunas are very, very important, because these four gunas represent the whole process of chemical reactions that happen in the body. What is metabolism? The sum total of chemical reactions happening in the body. What is anabolism? All the building up processes. What is catabolism? All the breaking down processes. You can explain with Ushna, Shita, Ruksha and Snigdha the entire metabolism. Is that clear? So this is how the dosha concept also came. When you take this, now from Snigdha and Ruksha guna, when more and more substances cause bonds, the mass will increase, is it not? So when Snigdha guna increases, then the next set of gunas come, Guru guna. Because mass increases, it becomes Guru. When the substances break their bonds and they become separate, the mass gets reduced. Then we have Lakhu guna. Is this clear? Can you see this correlation of chemical reactions and the gunas? So Ushna and Shita represent that heat and cold. They actually, we can say one is endothermic and exothermic reactions, where heat is released and heat is preserved. This is how chemical reactions are happening. And Snigdha and Ruksha guna, where bonds are formed and bonds are broken. All chemical reactions are nothing but making and breaking bonds, creating newer and newer configurations. And as this happens, there is a change in mass. Today, when we study chemistry, we study like that. No? You look at the equation, you look at their atomic weight, also we can see, and then we convert it into the weight, the mass and the weight. So there is a formula for all this. So that's nothing but measuring the Gurvadi gunas. Next, what happens when Gurutvam increases? We have another guna that is called Manda guna. Manda means slow. So when Gurutva increases, the movement becomes slow. On the other hand, when Lakhutva increases, the movement becomes very fast. Tikshna. So compared to food, if you take one full bolus of butter and eat, for some time you will be like sleepy, isn't it? Because it takes time for the body to break it all down. It is very sthula. So sthula is another aspect. After Manda guna comes Sthula guna, which means it takes. So all these gunas are interrelated. We have to see it as a matrix. When one guna changes, there is a shift across other gunas. Are you able to imagine that? Shita guna, Snigdha guna, Guru guna, Manda guna. Together they will come. Where has the change to happen? When the Shita Ushna guna shifts, then the other gunas will also shift. And then a new sequence of guna is formed. In this way, the guna sequences are continuously in a flux inside the body. And the Tridosha is nothing but a concept to understand how these fluctuations are happening. So Vata is a short form for a sequence of gunas. Pitta is a short form for a sequence of gunas. Kabha is a short form for a sequence of gunas. Instead of telling all the list of gunas, we can combine these three and then compute all the permutations and combinations of the Vimshati gunas. So dosha is actually a concept. We cannot say it really exists. Like latitude and longitude, does it really exist? No, we are creating those imaginary lines so that we can have a GPS system. And it works. With those coordinates, we are able to locate specific places on Earth. But that latitude, longitude division is, so the Vimshati gunas are there. Dividing them into the doshas is a human logical exercise. And how the four doshas and Agni were created, I can tell you. Take those four gunas, Shita, Ushna, Snigdha, Ruksha. So combine them. How many possibilities are there? Shita Snigdha, Shita Ruksha, Ushna Ruksha, Ushna Snigdha, right? Four combinations are possible. Is it not? Now, which is the most destructive combination?
Ushna Ruksha.
Ushna Ruksha. So Ushna Ruksha is called Agni. Ushna Ruksha is Agni. It is Urdhvagami. And when this guna increases in the body, there is disintegration and complete dissolution. In fact, just like in the earth, we see the human body just like, astronomers see the earth. Earth is a molten ball inside, right? Inside the core of the earth is Agni. Only outside is, so the body is also like this. Kayo antaragni, tasya chikitsa, kaya chikitsa. We are a burning ball of meat. So if we burn, we are alive. If we don't burn, we are dead. If we burn too much also, we are dead. And if we don't burn at all also, we are dead. So I always say this is the Shakespearean dilemma in Ayurvedic terms. To burn or not to burn? That is a question. To burn or not to burn? And the body burns and yet does not burn. That is the beauty of metabolism. We have a very strong fire inside. Agnir Moolam, it is said. Shantegnau Mriyate Yukte Stiram Jivatya Namaya. Yogi Syad Vigrade Tasmad Moolam Agnir Niruchyate. Has anybody heard this? This is from Caraka-Saṁhitā itself. Shantegnau Mriyate Yukte Chiram Jivatya Namaya. So you must burn slowly. So when you are doing anti-aging thing, we are actually trying to control this Agni. See, everything in the universe is being burnt by its own Agni. See, suppose I take a paper. It is very white. But have you seen old paper? What is the color of old papers? Old paper, what color it will become?
Yellow.
Yellow. Yellow is the color of fire. And very, very old paper, if you just touch it, it will disintegrate, right? Because Agni has come, it has become Ruksha. And the bonds have broken, and you just touch that paper, it will break into pieces. So everything is burning with its own Agni. And what we are trying to do is to prevent that Agni or slow down that Agni from burning it away. Eventually, Agni will burn it. That is why in the Veda, the first mantra of Rig Veda, anybody knows?
अग्निं
अग्निमीळे
पुरोहितं यज्ञस्य
यज्ञस्य
द्विजं
देवं
होतारं रत्नदातुम्
होतारं रत्नधातमम्.
Yes. So that is the thing. Agni Meele Purohitam. Agni is the Agni Meele Purohitam. Then
यज्ञस्य
यज्ञस्य देवं
Yajnasya Devam Ritwijam.
द्विजं
Otaram
रत्नदातुं रत्नदातुम्.
So we saw the whole universe as burning, as being created and devoured by Agni. And that is the vision in Ayurveda also. Yeah, Kala is the Karanam. Kala is not the Karanam, Agni is the Karanam. Kala is just in time that Agni manifests. Time by itself cannot burn the paper. It is through the agency of Agni that time allows that Agni, it creates the circumstances for Agni to manifest eventually. Agni doesn't become Ruksha, Agni is always Ruksha. It is that substratum in which Agni is there. When Agni manifests, the bonds break. And the breaking of bonds is what we call as Ruksha. I am trying to explain it also in terms of chemistry, which we are familiar with. Ushna, Shita, Snigdha is bond. Ruksha is breaking the bond. Guru is mass. Lakhu is, reduction in the mass. These are fundamental concepts which we use when we study chemical equations. So if you convert the gunas into Dham Yoga, Viyoga, that's how it is actually. Then we can understand the theory of Tridoshas is like biochemistry. But which is also, today they call psychobiotics. Psychochemistry is also there as part of Tridoshas. We understand how these chemical reactions influence the mind also. But it is basically Tridoshas represent the full set of reactions that are happening in the body. Their patterns, their pathways, all the metabolic pathways in the body is represented by the Tridoshas in the Guna matrix. So is it Agni concept clear? Agni is at the center, Ushna Ruksha. Now, how does life function? By controlling this Agni. Shante Gno Mriyate. Yukte Chiram Jivatya Namayaha. So once a creation has happened, Panchikrita substance has happened, Agni will eventually burn it away. If it is more Parthiva, it will stay longer. If you make it more Parthiva, then there is no consciousness or intelligence. If you make it more Agneya, Vayavya, then more intelligence will manifest, but it will not live for long. That is why there is a famous story of Markandeya. His parents were not having a child, so they prayed to Lord Shiva. Shiva finally appeared in the dream and said, I will bless you with a child, but do you want a dull, long-lived child or an intelligent, short-lived child? So human life is optimized after a lot of experiments in animals. The tortoise was created, it could live for so long. Why can't tortoise have been humanized? No, because there is more tamas in that, it's very slow. Other animals, elephant is an exception. Elephant, that is why we are using elephant face also to show intelligence and other things. But after so many experiments of Prithvi, combinations of the Panchama Bhutas, the human body was created, which has an ideal, optimal lifespan, enough lifespan to awaken our consciousness. So if there is too much of Parthiva Bhava in us, then we will become more tamasic. So humans have been created with the ability to express maximum Sattva. But we are also burning, which means that our body will just burn and disintegrate eventually. So our goal, according to Ayurveda, is to keep that flame of life, that Jyoti, Jiva Jyoti, we call as this Agni, to keep it burning up to the point where we are able to achieve the higher consciousness. After that, the body is no use. The fishing net is to catch the fish. After the fish is caught, we have until the next fishing expedition comes, the net has no use. So our body is only a tool, it's only an instrument, and we have to preserve it. And for that, the knowledge of Agni is very important. Now, how do we control this Agni? We have to make sure the Agni increases, decreases. You should be able to switch it up and down. Now, if you look at that, the other combinations of the gunas, which were the other combinations? Snigdha and Shita. Then we have Shita and Ruksha. And then we have Ushna and Snigdha. So if you look at it very carefully, these three combinations of gunas are the three doshas. So one is Kapha. Shita Snigdha is Kapha. When you increase Shita Snigdha gunas, Agni will become Manda. And this is the secret of a long life. Preserve your Kapha. Don't increase it too much, because too much increase comes means Agni will be destroyed. So Shita Snigdha, maintaining your Shita Snigdha guna is what we do with Rasayana, so that your Agni is burning under control, so that it lives, it slowly burns away. But it is strong enough to express your consciousness. Both are needed. Human life is not, what is the use of longevity if you cannot evolve spiritually? That is the question. The purpose is not to live like a log. It is to awaken into that higher consciousness. So if you are going to preserve your life, then there should be a purpose for it. Many great spiritual masters they were not interested in prolonging their life. They did their job and left the place quickly. It is to show us that living a long life by itself has no meaning as far as human birth is concerned. That long life is to be used for spiritual evolution. And if you have evolved spiritually, then there's no point in keep being in the body. Unless one purpose is Loka Anugraha Pravritti. So Shanta Mahanto Nivasanti Santo Vasandavalloka Hitam Charantaha. Has anybody heard of this? Anybody heard? See, if you have achieved your own goal of life, then this is the only purpose of living. Shantaha, having achieved that bliss yourself. Mahantaha, becoming a Mahan. Nivasanti Santo, such people are there. Yes, Swamiji, Viveka Chudamani. Of course, you know, I was asking others. Shanta Mahanto Nivasanti Santo Vasandavalloka Hitam. They are like the spring. So if they are living again, it is not for themselves. Tirnaha Swayam Bhima Bhavarnavam. This huge, horrifying worldly existence, they have crossed over. Ahetuna anyana pitarayanta. Without any expectation, without any reason, they are staying back just to help others also to cross over. These are the Mahatma, these are the rishis that our civilization and our culture have always worshipped. Today, if you want to get a service, you have to pay for it. Now, these are people who served without any expectation. Ahedunanyana pitarayanta. So such people are there. So Ayurveda is again say lokayor ubhayor hidam. So when we are saying this, this becomes a puja. Preserving your physical agni becomes a puja. That became kaya chikitsa. And the three doshas are the three knobs to control this agni. So when kapha increases, agni will become manda. Tair bhaved vishamas tikshno mandascha agni samay samaha. When pitta increases, agni becomes tikshna. And vata is the knob. It can turn it both sides. Vishama. It can make it manda or it can make it tikshna. So controlling the agni by controlling the three doshas. This is how we can preserve our agni. So we have to make sure that when it is lunchtime, our agni should actually be strong. After a meal, naturally kapha will increase, so agni will come down. Right? So vishamatvam is something which happens when you increase too much of vata in your system. Vata is ruksha. When it is associated with pitta, it becomes ushna ruksha. And agni will slightly increase. When that pitta association cools down, so during daytime, when there is too much of heat in the body, at any time, when there is too much heat in the body, a vata person will feel hunger. And when it goes, suddenly he will feel no hunger, shita ruksha. Because vata is yogavahi, it will get associated with ushna. So vata creates vishama agni. So is that clear? The guna matrix can be divided into 4 quadrants. But then you place the center, at the center you can place the agni, and then you can place the other doshas around it. This is the model of the human body in Ayurveda. So I am continuously working on the three doshas are like the 3 threads that I have to balance my agni. And if I balance the 3 doshas, my agni will remain stable and steady. It will be with me, it will make me live for 100 years. Yes, Snigdha plus Shita is Kapha. Shita plus Ruksha is Vata. And Snigdha plus Ushna is Pitta. Agni is Ushna plus, Shita plus Ruksha is Vata. Snigdha plus Ushna is Pitta. And Ruksha plus Ushna is Agni. That is why Sushruta says, Samadosha Samagnischa. When doshas are sama, Agni becomes sama. When Agni becomes sama, Samadhatu Malakriya. Then all the Dhatu Malakriyas of the body will happen normally. So we have to make sure. So whatever gunas we are ingesting through we are eating only dravyas. We are eating
Sir,
dravyas.
repeat once again. The Snigdha plus Shita is Kapha.
Yes.
Then
Shita plus Ruksha is Vata. So this means, see, if you eat a lot of, drink a lot of cold milk, you can find kapha will increase in your body. If you get exposed to cold wind, you will start sneezing and vata will increase. If you get exposed to moist heat, then you will get blisters. This is, you can see these things, you can easily relate with your own experience. So this is the concept of the samsarga. We can see pitta and kapha depending on, so pitta will make it slightly tikshna and kapha will make it manda. So since they are opposite, they will cancel each other. That is what our acharyas are saying, just like koshta. Kapha koshta is madhyama and samadosha also madhyama, because vata is causing kruratvam and pitta is causing mridutva. So when kapha is dominant, it is neither krura nor. So here it will cancel each other. Samsarga means combination, two coming together. Vata, pitta together, it is called as samsarga. So you can calculate this by the gunas. So you can see pitta is ushna and snigdha, and kapha is snigdha and shita. Is it not? So again, pitta kapha samsarga is of three types. Pitta dominant pitta kapha, kapha dominant pitta kapha, and both in equal. So if pitta is dominating, the agni will tend to be little strong. If kapha is dominating, then agni will tend to be little weak, but it will be stronger than kapha prakriti, pure kapha prakriti. Pure kapha prakriti will have little bit more manda guna. And if both are in equal quantity, then they will cancel out each other. So we have to see how the gunas will come. See, snigdha guna will be there. Snigdha guna is necessary for, snigdha guna in little quantity actually is increasing agni. It's like the fuel. See, not when you are lighting a lamp, if the oil is there, then the lamp will burn, right? If you pour too much oil on the fire, the fire will get extra. But little oil is always necessary. That's why pittam ishal snigdham, sasneham. Pittam is always sasneham because that little oil is needed for that fire to burn. If it becomes a dry, then that whole wick will burn, our body itself will burn. So that snigdha guna is a protection. So when snigdha guna comes along with fire, actually the fire will be good, strong. So when kapha and pitta come together, only if kapha's shita guna will cancel off the ushna guna of pitta, then agni will be. So snigdha guna is, to some extent, is not a challenge for agni, but shita guna is a challenge for agni. So kapha has shita and snigdha gunas. Pitta has ushna and little snigdha guna. So if pitta's ushna guna is dominating in such kind of pitta kapha samsarga, agni will be strong only. But if kapha's shita guna is dominating, so which means it's a kapha pitta samsarga, then the agni will become manda. Is that clear? Repeat. Your mic has some malfunctioning, some agni problem. When we work hard, actually, initially the agni will increase. And that is why the fuel is being burned. Vyayama will increase Agni. So one of the benefits of Vyayama is Deeptognihi Medasakshaya. Deeptogni. Lakhavam karma samarthyam Deeptognir Medasakshaya Vibhakta Ghanagatratum Vyayama Dupajayate. So Deeptogni, Vyayama is always good for Agni. So if you are a Vyayama Nitya, you can maintain your Agni very well. But when you do Vyayama, you must eat also adequately. Today's crash diet course and all that is, according to Ayurveda, harmful. We are seeing a lot of young people, middle-aged people dying in the gym who are very body conscious. Because Ardha Shaktya Nishevyastu Balibhis Snigdha Bodhihi. Ardha Shaktya Nishevya. Vyayama should always be done up to half one's strength. Balibhihi. You should have enough strength to. You must do Vyayama only up to your strength. And you must be a Snigdha Bhoji. You must be a Snigdha Bhoji. Then Vyayama will be helpful. Otherwise, overdoing Vyayama can hyperactivate your Agni, can cause exhaustion, can cause damage. So Ayurveda always talks about proper Vyayama. So when we run also, Agni will increase. Running is an excellent exercise, just like walking. But walking is more easy for everybody to do. So if you are a runner, it is very good. Especially Medasakshaya. You can, that's a best way to remove excess fat from your system. Okay. So is this clear, the gunas?
Sir, you said 20 gunas are there, right?
Yes.
So now we're discussing only 6.
Yeah.
Right. 3.
See, the gunas are discussed later. Only the major gunas which we usually use in our the secondary gunas, see, out of these 8 are called karmanya gunas, which are most important in the our general discussions, understanding medicine, how they work, understanding doshic imbalance. So they are called as a karmuka gunas, shaktimando gunaha. So that only those gunas I have discussed now. 4 pairs. Snigdha, Ushna Shita, Snigdha Ruksha, Guru Lakhu, Manda Tikshna. So these are the most important gunas. The rest, if we start discussing now, we will deviate from our topic. That comes much later when all the gunas are discussed. We will discuss that at that time. Now I just wanted...
Sir, I have a practical question for a person. Suppose the 3 a combination of cough, pitta and vayu. Suppose how one can find that as it is changing time to time, like the sun is rising and moon is coming. It's a regular phenomena. For a particular body, how one can find that the what type of dominance in general he or she may have.
Yeah. See, there are 2 things. The common continuous variation is called Vikriti, and their innate nature is called Prakriti. So for everybody, in the morning, Kapha will increase a little bit. In the afternoon, Pitta will increase. In the evening, Vata will increase. That is natural. So that is called Prakritam, according to the Kala. In a Kapha person, their Kapha will always, if you are a Kapha Prakriti, your Kapha will be little bit always dominant. So even in Vata Kala, my Kapha will not decrease as much as it decreases in a Vata person. So these are all relative. So you have to first understand the natural gatis of the doshas. So morning time is Kapha time. So everybody's Kapha will increase at that time. unless we do something opposite. If I am fasting in the morning, I'm not drinking water, I am doing a lot of exercise, then my kapha may not increase as much. But if I leave it to nature, my kapha will increase. So how do we know which dosha is increased? One is by knowing the patterns. So I can predict. See, midnight actually pitta is increasing. That is why midnight, if you are actually active, you will find very good concentration. There are people who burn the midnight oil, as they say. But this is at a cost. Yes, Vayorohora. So all this is described in Ayurveda, how to assess. We are only in the 60th verse out of 9,000. So all the details have to be studied. We have to see in lot of patients. Gradually it is possible to assess. But simple thing is the lakshanas. By knowing the lakshanas, I will understand my prakriti. If I am Vata Prakriti, I know that always there is a little dominance of Vata in my system. If I am a Kapha Prakriti, there is always some dominance of. There is no Prakriti. Diabetes is a Vikriti. Any person with any Prakriti can get diabetes. Once you get diabetes, it means you have a Vikriti. Your Prakriti is your natural constitution, which will not create any disease, but it will make you susceptible for certain diseases. A Kapha person may be more prone to diabetes. Any Prakriti person can. So you must understand the difference between Prakriti and Vikriti here. Prakriti is caused by doshodreka, increased dosha. Vikriti is caused by kupita dosha. That is the difference. Dosha kopa creates disease. Dosha vriddhi can create your prakriti. So what dosha you were dominating at the time of conception, you will have that prakriti. Vikriti is the fluctuations of doshas irrespective of prakriti. What happens due to some external causes or conditions. So that keeps, so same Vikriti can happen to anybody. So diabetes is a Vikriti, it is not a Prakriti. Prakriti cannot be changed. Prakritir nama janma maranantarala bhavini garbhavakrandi samaye doshodrega janito nirvikarini doshasthitihi. Physical Prakriti cannot be changed according to Ayurveda. We can manage it. Yes, Sumitra?
So my question, with the doshas that you have mentioned is it possible to say the dosha of a person just by seeing the type of the body, like if the person is stout or slim, or can we judge with that?
To some extent. Today, I was reading, one of my colleagues in my previous office told me that he thinks that today we are talking about Ayurgenomics. He was suggesting another term called Ayurphenomics. Because Ayurveda is not talking about genomics. Ayurveda is talking about phenotype, not genotype. So phenotype means by looking at the external expression, to some extent we can understand what is a prakriti. But in my understanding, staulyam can happen even to a vata prakriti person. So staulyam is not kapha prakriti. So especially what we call today as abdominal adiposity. If somebody has abdominal adiposity, then it is central obesity, then it is not kapha. A kapha person will not have, by prakriti, he will not have central adiposity. So even though a kapha person may have more weight, but his body will be in good shape. The shape will not be a problem. Actually, a kapha prakriti person's body is very well formed, very vibhakta, and It is not. But today, because of our modern sedentary lifestyle and other things, people are becoming obese. Even Vata people are becoming obese today because of the lifestyle. So in such, and I have seen many people who are generally little thin, but you can see their bellies are pot bellies. It's very common now. So yeah, otherwise you can generally Kabha person will definitely be more. See, what I have understood is people who are gaining weight easily, who find it difficult to lose weight, they are Kabha Prakriti. People who find it difficult to gain weight, they are Vata. But then we have Vata Pitta also, Vata Kapha also. So all those things we have to analyze. I would not 100% go by phenotyping, 100% no, but I would take it as a clue. Why? Because Prakriti is a tendency. Prakriti is coming from genetic, but there's a lot of epigenetics also. Like two Vata people, two Vata Prakritis, imagine. One person is growing in a very supportive environment where he is getting Abhyanga every day. He's resting, he's getting good sleep, he's getting Vatahara foods. Another place, same Vata, type of Vata person, he's not able to sleep. He's having a very erratic life, he's eating all Rukshahara. Now both will look very, very different. So this in Rasavaisheshika Sutram, they are telling Shikshita and Ashikshita. A Shikshita Prakriti is difficult to identify because they have compensated for their Prakriti and they look quite normal. Ashikshita Prakritis, they will be expressing extreme, features of that particular dosha. Is that clear? So this is why always looking by. Another problem is that Prakriti can change. If you say some race, some ethnicity, some people in that ethnic community are very tall. Irrespective of Prakriti, they tend to grow very tall. So you cannot look at that alone and say that, oh, this because he is very tall is Vata Prakriti or like that. It is not possible. But phenotypes do give some hints. In Ayurveda, most of the descriptions are based on phenotypic variations.
Thank you, sir.
So the definition of Prakriti that I gave is from Rasavaisheshika Sutram. Prakritir Nama Janma Maranantarala Bhavini. So it is fixed from birth to death. Garbhavakranti Samaya, at the time of Garbhavakranti or the formation of this conception, Doshodrega Janitaha, by an increase of the dosha, not a vikriti of the dosha, because if dosha becomes vikrita or deranged, then the fetus is damaged. Here is only an increase. Doshodrega janito nirvikarini dosha sthiti. Prakriti doesn't cause a disease, it only makes you susceptible. A Vata Prakriti is easily susceptible to Vata disease. But Prakriti itself doesn't cause any disease. So, Nirvikarini doshasthiti. Doshodrega janitaha nirvikarini doshasthiti. Is that clear?
So one more thing, sir.
Yes.
This phenotype, you said, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, these three people, if they are born in different places, like in cold places or in desert areas, like that, in the extremes, I mean, there also do we have all three kinds of people?
Yeah. All three kinds will be there, but they will express differently. See, in Ayurveda, many Prakritis are mentioned. Due to modern commercialization and fashion, everybody is talking about not three Prakritis. Actually, basically 7 are there. Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Vata, Pitta, Vata, Kapha, Pitta, Kapha, and then Sama Prakriti. 7 types are there. Today, we are simplifying it by saying Vata Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti. In fact, pure dosha Prakritis are difficult to see. Majority are dual Prakritis. Now, dosha Prakriti is only one part. I will show you a slide and then we will stop. I will show you the Prakriti chart according to Ayurveda. Just a minute. There are many Prakritis. Just a second. Yeah. So I'm just sharing my screen. See how many types of Prakritis are there. First of all, we have genetics plays a big role. So the ethnic community in which you are born, this is called Jati Prakriti. That will leave an imprint. All people in the same ethnic community will have some similar features. If somebody comes from Tamil Nadu, no, that is Tamil Nadu is different. Sorry, some ethnic groups. That is Desha. Then you have Kula Prakriti. If you are born into a certain family, you will share some characteristics. Then there is Deshanupatini. People living in Arctic region or Germany, Germans have something in common. India, within India itself, Kerala is different. If you are a Gujarati, you may look different. Then there is Kala. So this means genetics and epigenetics. Then age itself changes your appearance. So individual Prakriti is the Manasa Prakriti and Sharira Prakriti. So this is only one type. So if you want to study a human being completely, Ayurveda says you must study all these Prakritis. So Vata Prakriti in different jatis will be very different. An African Vata person is different from an Indian Vata person. And an American Vata person is different from a what you can say Australian Vata person. So those factors also we must take into account. Then we will get a better idea about. So I hope today's discussion is a bit deep and a bit complex, but I hope we could understand that the guna matrix is what, the basis of all the functional stability of the body, and the three doshas are kind of a model which Ayurveda uses to explain to us how the gunas fluctuate. And then we learned a few concepts also about Prakriti, Agni and the Tridoshas. We will continue this discussion tomorrow. This part is actually very, very important. So we need to spend a little time on the Tridoshas. That's the foundation of Ayurvedic theory. So we'll try to understand it from various angles till we get the confidence. Yes, I got a hold on what the doshas are. So a few classes may not look very clear, but you will get bits and pieces. Finally, we put all the pieces together, we will get a better idea of what the doshas are. So with that, we conclude for today. Yes, Hemali, I will explain that also. See, Pitta is doing all the repair work. In the night, Pitta increases to repair all the organs in your body. So 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is the Pitta Kala. And you must make sure you sleep, because otherwise the body cannot do the essential self-repair. By not sleeping between 10 to 2 a.m., we are compromising our health. In tomorrow's class, I will explain what that time is called Kali Yama. Kali Yama is very important for us to sleep. So Pitta increases at that time actually to repair our body and maintain. But instead of that, if we eat and if we work, then Pitta will be diverted. It will be used for doing that additional work. And at a cost means you're not maintaining your body. So that rest, even minimal sleep that you require, if you are doing good meditation and you're living a peaceful, calm life, then minimum you still need 4 hours. Yogis sleep between 10 and 2 a.m. They wake up at 2 a.m. in what you call as Saraswati Yama. They sleep only in Kali Yama. To not sleep in Kali Yama also, you have to become a Mahayogi. If you become a Mahayogi, then your body is requiring no maintenance. But that is beyond the possibility of us mortals. So I would recommend at least, yeah, if you are really practicing yoga, your sleep requirement will become less and less. Your sleep requirement will become definitely less and less. But good sleep is necessary for yoga to be successful. That Bhagavad Gita very clearly says, Natyashnatastu yogosti nachaiganda manashnata. Nachadi swapnashilasya. So that is very clearly mentioned. Too much of sleep, not sleeping at all, eating too much, not eating at all. For such a person, yoga doesn't become successful. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. So you must have proper sleep wake cycle, then yoga removes your sorrows. Okay, so I think we are done for today. Namaste.
Namaste, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। रामकृष्णाय ते